And over the weekend, I was having some discussions, and from what I hear, almost ₦1 trillion in cash has come back into the banking system.
Wow.
So you can imagine what would happen where you engage fintechs to help drive this inclusion in areas. A number of Nigerians have phones, whether it's the so-called Androids or Palasas. You can use a number of all these things to drive financial inclusion rather than having to hold cash. People have lost cash from putting them inside their saving boxes, and the cash has melted away, hundreds of thousands, some of them, some in thousands, and all. So this for me is CBN looking at the future, ensuring that they would drive all financial service providers within the community to, one, collaborate, partner, and drive financial inclusion somewhere the big banks cannot open branches and get people to bring in this cash and do business on their behalf. And for me, it just creates increased employment opportunities, because small businesses, like across the world, provide about 40 to 50% of the economic value anywhere in the world.
All right, we've got messages coming in already. I'll take this one. The first one that came in from Tanya from Agaду, who says, before we get all excited about the $500 million loan, I think we should do some back checking. This cannot, he puts that in capital marks, be the first time the funds have been budgeted for projects such as this. What has been done with them prior? Unfortunately, I see this as money to be gorged on by a few people and not for the benefit of the people who truly need it. So, yeah, we have talked about funds for electrification before and for boosting electricity, but it's it's a massive undertaking, right? It's a massive undertaking, and I think each time that we've spoken about the funds, we've also talked about the fact that the people who are in the power sector have said that drops in buckets. So literally, they're going to need more. So it's a sector, Tanya, that's going to take up a lot more money before you see what the
What
kind of outcomes that you're looking for.
I totally agree with you.
All right, so Cisco Delgado says, no doubt steady electricity supply will make the economy grow immensely. And to do so, the federal government should encourage the private sector to invest in providing electricity to communities where the national grid supply is not available.
Yeah, but if you go down further on that story, you would see the kind of partnerships that they're looking at, and that for me is just huge. And we've seen the effects of some of these things even in Lagos here. A number of small businesses today, rather than run generators, run alternative sources of power.
Meanwhile, and there was some news. Oh, it was in South Africa, about the turn to solar and how that has taken a load off of the grid, and how people are turning to these alternative means of power generation, which we have also been doing here in Nigeria. Um, yeah, so there's one. Oh, hold on. Yinka Bolu says, wait, hold on. The CBN should drive what again? The same CBN on whose e-Naira app my 50,000 Naira just went missing since the 11th of November. Asks Yinka. And oh my goodness. All right, here's some news that I don't want to talk about. I'm just putting that out there,
I'll be
but no,
very
no,
brief on this
but
one.
not really. We need to talk about it because when there's something such, then there's this perennial issue that you just keep talking and digging and talking and trying to act on, and
I
sooner or later you have to come to some sort of consensus.
I
From the
agree.
Punch newspaper, ASU warns of new crisis, seeks intervention. As the Academic Staff Union of Universities yesterday, warning Nigerians that if the federal government keeps withholding their pay, there's going to be a new crisis in our universities. Yeah, and that could just happen at any point. So it urged interested parties and well-meaning Nigerians to put pressure on the federal government towards paying its members withheld 8 month salaries across the nation. So they've forgotten no work, no pay. But what?
Well, I don't know the full details of this agreement, but I think this was part of the agreement that they'll go back and then those monies will be paid to them. I remember a few weeks ago, about 2 3 weeks ago, I read in one of the newspapers that they had paid some
Mm.
lecturers, especially those who had to do with the medical services. Some universities had received in full, and so on. But like like I said then, or like I thought then, and I'm saying now is, I guess these things have been done in trenches. We all know that. We're sounding like a broken record when we say that the federal government is broke.
So what is
But,
sort of the same? It's
but
the same thing as
you
when
would
the
you
medical
would
professionals went on strike, right? And then they had agreed that their pay for the time
it,
that they went on strike was
yeah,
going to be paid.
yeah,
However, it was still recently, even this
they
year,
haven't paid.
that we heard that only a few of only a subset of them had been paid.
Yeah, so like I
Rest of
said,
them
it's
just-
probably in tranches. So they're looking at the different areas and they're saying, okay, we have this money, so we'll pay this ones and so on. I can't speak for government, but
Mm.
I do. Let's for once they'll say I'm defending government, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt that they'll get this money paid before the end of this administration's term.
That's still some months away.
Yeah. So
That's still a few months away before the end of their term.
6 months.
That's a while
That's a long
for the
time.
lecturers. That's almost how long it took them to go on. How long
Yeah,
it
so
took
they
for
can,
their
like I
strike.
said, it could be paid in tranches, so they might pay 2 months along with this month's salary. I really don't know. I can't speak, but
So now,
I guess that should be the way.
one
it
thing
should
I
be.
want to ask you though is, what do you make of? I feel what is quite a militant attitude to the federal government on behalf or on the part of the union, the academic staff union of universities. How does that speak, do you think, to the view that they have or to the negotiations that were carried out between them, and whether there is any trust right now between them, if this is the go-to already, wherein we hear um, not much longer after.
Did you mention the word trust?
I shouldn't have.
Let's leave
Oh,
it
wait,
at that.
did you?
Let's leave it at that.
So sorry, so sorry, but I had to ask because if agreements must be based on trust, must they not?
ASU and the federal government.
They must be based on something. Otherwise, we keep getting repeats of something that we don't want repeated.
Shokwe,
So
you're going back to this,
I'm
and I'm
just
trying to get away from
no.
it.
I'm trying to figure out what is stopping us from going into the next 8 month strike or 11 month strike or 24 month strike. What's stopping us?
Trust.
I've heard you. Moving on. Kunle Owode up on YouTube says financial inclusion is the way out for development.
I agree.
And Dotun says, hold on. Oh wow. Dotun says there's a bank that starts with the name S that has gone off grid totally. The head office in Lagos Island is covered by solar panels. Oh, okay. Victor Shion says it's pure hardship to buy a liter of fuel for 300 naira and waste the same in over 3 hours of traffic in Lagos. I'm trying to figure out what this means. I still
It's
read it.
probably telling you that alternative sources of power is better for you. Maybe we should start
Oh, I'm hungry.
using solar to drive our cars.
See, I truly believe in this.
2060 is the target date.
Uh.
We'll get there. The energy transition program will get us there. Fully electrified cars on Nigerian roads.
He says in the north, where fuel sells for higher prices, you can drive a full tank for more than a month. The same is practicable in the US, Canada, and other parts of Europe. High petrol prices not for Lagos residents. The reason you can drive that tank for more than a month is because nobody goes anywhere because of those high fuel prices. They're like, do I need to go out?
Yeah.
Which also I think is something that we can incorporate in Lagos. Not every car needs to
Exercise
be on
is
the road.
good for us in Lagos. Many of us are just falling down and dying because we are not healthy.
Well, get rid of the sun first for me, and then we'll see what can happen.
Chopper, you have an umbrella, carry.
We move. Dami from Ikuruji says a new, putting in quotation marks, a new ASU crisis was the previous one resolved. These series of strikes are as a result of the failure to address issues from a 2009 agreement, which, by the way, was only come to after issues with regards to an earlier agreement. Just putting that in there. But Dami goes on to say people should stop saying that the government is broke. Our politicians are not acting broke. It's a matter of priorities. All right. Cruz says, Chopin, spare Wadi. Because it's too difficult to explain the trust.
Thank you. God bless you this morning.
So, we move on. You're making me laugh too much today.
I told you today I'm very calm. No I would bust on it. And I was glad that the first story I read was on power and how we want to increase the economic value in Nigeria by just giving enough power to Nigerians.
By the way, Taya says exercise is good for the body. Please come and join me walking from Aja to the mainland before 8 o'clock on how we should use our cars less, I think is what he's saying. When you said exercise is good for the body, that's not exercise. That sounds like torture, Tayo. Let's take this next article in from the Vanguard newspaper. $15.4 billion lost to oil production shortfalls in 2022. So the latest data by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, showed that total oil production for the first 10 months of the year was 409.94 million barrels, as opposed to the budget provision of 571.5 million barrels. So there's a shortfall in there. But considering the fact that we've been dealing, and the watchword for any debate at this point when it comes to crude oil has been theft. That's been the byword for any conversation, has been crude oil, and then you have to put theft afterwards. So is it really putting that into play? What do these numbers look like to you? I actually think that's not bad considering where we could have been.
What's not bad?
The shortfall.
15.4 billion.
I'm just saying
I did a quick math downstairs while I was reviewing this story. Multiply it by 450, which is the exchange rate. That's 6.9 trillion. 7 trillion.
I'm sorry, people.
That's the subsidy you want to pay next year.
Oh no.
And let's also remember that NNPC has not dropped one. If I use cent now, they'll say was one kobo in the federation account.
Yes, that's true.
So 6.7 trillion on subsidy 2023 budget. That's the calculation there. Just the short maths. So should I go further?
Yes, please.
No, there's nothing to go
further.
No,
go further.
Because our two biggest pipelines, Focados and Bonny, have been shut down for 7 months. But the fact of the matter remains that the international market is not feeling the pressure of this loss because these things are still getting there. The NNPC GMD says, they would sanction refineries that buy stolen oil. Excuse me? You know them? Oh, that's fine. But they are still getting the stolen oil and selling it and refining it. That's where the question is. You deal with your house first before you start chasing the people outside. If someone is conniving within the house and selling your property, then you have to look for the person internally first. You haven't done that. All we hear is, we put in a robust system to check it. Pipelines are still being vandalized. Crude oil is still, we've not produced, our average production this year has been 1.34 million, and that's because at the earlier part of the year we're doing a bit better. Last month we barely did an average of 1 million. Our quota is 1.88 million.
Yeah, we have not met that.
So Shopper, I'm lost. And when I say take out subsidy, everybody says, no, for the masses. The masses, see, prices are going up. CBN did their monetary policy committee meeting, increased MPR by another basis point, 16.5. Before the beginning of this year, we hadn't gone past 12.
But when you say take out subsidy, right? I feel like
we don't
pretty
even
much
have
a
the
done
subsidy
deal, isn't it?
Yeah, so just make the floor 400 naira. Stop making it like you said.
So basically, you're saying take out subsidy today, like 2022,
like yesterday,
November.
No, like 2019.
We are past. We can't do time travel. So 2022 is the best we can do. So you're saying just take it out immediately with immediate effect.
We're looking at a subsidy payment of almost 4.5 trillion this year. 1.6 trillion in 2019, 2.5 trillion in 2021, 4 trillion, 4.5 trillion in 2022, 7 trillion in 2023. Add all that together. You see, we're talking about the energy transition earlier. Nigeria wants $1.9 trillion, which comes to about 50 billion every year over the next 38 years. We've lost 15.4 billion, which is a third of that money that you can put into energy. And we're saying that 550 million is just a drop in the ocean. But like I said, little drops of water makes
I don't want to say the T word anymore, people, because I don't know what it will do, but I feel
trust. I don't
trust.
understand. It starts with a small T, and
Because
the T is bent the other way around. Oh please, Shopper, let's go
no,
on.
because Wadi, here's
Shopper,
the
I can
thing.
you see,
The reason people
Shopper, I've
keep
been on
Mhm.
this. You know how long I've been
I
on
know,
this.
I know.
Tomorrow again, I'm going to. Yeah, last week I was supposed to be here, but I had other. But tomorrow I'm going to be here. We're going to be talking about this oil and
It
gas.
starts again with trust. Because Wadi, the reason you can turn away from
No,
me all you
I'm
like.
not turning away. Can you
Oh,
see?
you're looking at the capital
I'm
T.
looking at the capital T. I said our own T is upside down and in small letter.
I can't help you right now. I'm just saying
Frost is more like it.
there is
You know, T, when you turn it upside down, turn it the other way, it becomes
is
F.
F,
And
yes.
so frustration, that's the word. Shopper, can we go to other news, please?
I can't help you today.
Tomorrow, Devo and I will have this discussion.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
we will.
wow, they've told me what we're doing for Lagos Talks
Yes,
tomorrow.
tomorrow, Devo and I will be here. They take it out. Yesterday, I was reading the papers. Point says 400 naira per liter, which is where I think it will get to.
You think it will get to 400? Only 400 naira
That's
per
where it
liter?
starts from. But you see, the irony of
Thank
it
you.
is
That's
that
where it
those things.
starts from.
No. But it won't go higher at any point in time because those who are doing this business want to make money. The inefficiencies caused by NNPC, people, people pay for logistics fee with MPA and IMASA in foreign currency that you can't get from CBN, which adds about 72% to the cost of those things. Just well, let's talk about this tomorrow. Let's talk about the news of today.
Okay, watch out for Lagos Talks on a Wednesday, people. That's what we'll be talking about, apparently. All right, let's read your messages because they are coming in. Gilbert Musa from First Access talking about Nigeria going cashless. We have to address the electricity challenge first, then ensure our telecoms operators equally provide adequate service. This will help the cashless policy.
We'll find that out from these 2022 elections because the telecom providers have said that come rain, come sunshine, Vivas is going to work.
Orov says the federal government paid Conwell members some hybrid ASU faction. I'm trying to read this deliberately. I may come back to this message. Dami from Ikorodu says people are really what it seems like people are taking offense at this exercise is good for the body business because Demi says my office is 33 kilometers from my home because I've been priced out of any affordable accommodation. Tell Shokpa to walk. Why me? What did I do?
Hybrid work.
I'm like that lady who sat in the back of a taxi.
Instead of using the fuel to burn it, you buy the fuel at not at the price that you find it at the pump station. Just tell your office that, you know what, I'll buy it from my generator and work from home. What are the deliverables?
He says, tell Shopper to walk 264 kilometers in a week and I'll donate 10,000 naira to a charity of his choice.
Only 10,000 naira.
I have to say, Oro, Dami, I'm.
Shopper, let's talk about
my walking is worth a bit more. Thank you very much. Emo says, no matter how we want to spin it, subsidy removal without reducing our dependence on petrol will effectively ruin the population. Victor Shion says, petrol selling for 400 in a country with a 30,000 naira minimum wage. That's what he says. All right. Let's move on. Because time is quickly getting away from us.
Let's continue to pay the 7 trillion to a few people.
Trust, whatever.
Frost.
Whichever
the only thing I see is frost, and when I call it in full, is frustration.
Whichever way the T faces is a matter of trust, people. That's what I believe. Okay, from the Daily Post, federal government launches Nigeria's trade information portal. Tell us about it, Wadi.
Quickly, this one is based on an agreement with the World Trade Organization towards ensuring trade facilitation. Good news. I was having a discussion downstairs, and the question is, who's going to update it? The responsibility is that of the Ministry of Trade. It's good news. It will give access and information to how trade is going, what the exports are, what imports are, what goods in transits are, and then we can actually start to see what the numbers look like in terms of
transparency, accountability,
trust. Chokwe, leave me with trust this morning.
I'm gonna force that word down your throat, Wadi, whether you like it or not. Okay, and now this next headline comes in from the Punch newspaper, and it's giving me a bit of whiplash, people. Nigeria has sufficient food, says the Minister for Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Mohammed Abubakar, who spoke during his presentation at the fifth edition of the PMB Administration Scorecard 2015 to 2023 series in Abuja on Monday.
I really don't understand which one I should believe from this minister. A few weeks ago,
This is a minister who just last week told us that there's
no, 3 weeks ago he said there was enough food.
Yes, no.
Last week he says, oh, we are not sure that we have enough food. This week he tells us there's enough food.
Last week he told us that there were high levels of hunger in the country.
Chopper, put it in the plain man English.
Sorry,
we don't have enough
not
food.
enough food. But now here we are again,
He's telling
and
us
it's
that
like
we have enough food. A bag of rice has gone to 50,000. A derica of rice is 800 naira. All in the space of 3 weeks. I really don't understand what he's talking about. Where are these harvests? Where the farming belt of Nigeria was flooded and nothing was done about it. Oh, please spare me. Trust. I've taken the word trust.
I feel like you're doing bad things to that word, but okay. And final bit of news. Let's see if we can get this in real quick from the Daily Post. So we have heard from INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who has said that the attacks on INEC offices won't stop the 2023 elections.
I say an amen to that. It won't stop it. They can burn all the generators they want. I'm sure Nigerians will donate generator for electricity in the places that they need them. Like I said, yesterday, the telecoms community has told us that internet will work wherever they want it to work. And we believe it that it's going to work.
I find the 2023 elections, watching the build up to them, it's really fascinating because what we're seeing here, or what I believe we're seeing here, is a real and indelible shift away from politics as usual, politics as it used to be, or at least a real effort to shift it to a place of improvement
and there's only one reason for that. The time frame between the primaries and the final elections is about 6 months. It's never happened. So you now see why I believe, or I think this is the way to go. So people can think, people can see. It's not the one that is 2 months to the election and everybody goes around and tells us, like you said, there is not enough food, but today there's enough food. I leave it at that. Trust.
Trust, people. That's our watchword for the day. Dami from Ikurudi says, Shopper, considering that many minimum wage earners easily do 500 kilometers a week in Lagos, I can easily do 30,000 naira for 500 kilometers. That's my final offer. Dami, I'll have to think about it.
That means Shopper is not going to take your offer.
No. I'm thinking about it.
Shopper will go on treadmill and tell you that she has done 500 kilometers. Shopper, walking is healthy.
I believe walking is healthy.
I know.
I love to walk.
I know.
We're going to end the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm done with Uade Ahimie. You can find him up on Twitter. You do not have to be done with him. Find him on Twitter. He is at Uade Ahimie _. Go find him. Go tackle him. Go see how much he's willing to work for. Okay? I don't know why I was the one who got brought into this conversation.
So, I do my 10,000 steps every day.
I used to do 27,000 steps a day.
At the point in time, I used to do 30,000, but now you have to.
At the point in time, I used to do 40,000. We can keep this conversation
going.
Do
the 500. Dami has promised you 30K.
Dami, I'll get back to you on that. Thank you. We're done. Coming up, entertainment in the grapevine.
You're the one that started this fight, and I told you, leave me in peace. You said trust.